Hello, it's Debbie Gilbert from the Business Awards Show, and I'm also the founder of the Best Business Women Awards and the Best SME Awards, launching very soon. And today, I'm delighted to be joined by a bit of a networking guru. So I'm being joined by Tim Lee, who is the founder of Collaborate MK. He won 2 awards last year. He won locally the SME Bedfordshire, sorry, not SME Bedfordshire, SME Milton Keynes and Buckinghamshire Award. And that then meant that he went on to win an SME National Award for Best Networking Group, which was amazing. First award, incredible. So we're going to be talking all about Tim's journey into networking, all about his networking group and his networking ethos and some tips. And we're also going to be talking about why he even entered awards. So welcome, Tim.
Thank you so much, Debbie. Great to be here. Great to be here.
Lovely to meet you again, because the
Mm,
last time we saw each other was at Wembley.
it was. That's just gone back to me as well. Yes, yes.
Yes, it was at Wembley, and we were in the
Yeah,
same category for Best
yes.
Networking Group. And I said to my team, I'm happy to lose to Tim
Oh,
because I know what an incredible organization you
yeah.
have built. So tell me about the last 5 years. What on earth made you set up a networking group?
When I do look back, it is quite scary actually, because we formed right in the middle of lockdown, and we're in that real limbo stage of lockdown as well. So we're talking, you know, um, August of 2020. So the little story was, I was head of business development at Business MK newspaper, and we had a Business MK club, which is all going nicely until lockdown, and then and when lockdown was struck, then what do we do? So 4 or 5 of us got onto a Zoom call, pretty much for the first time ever, because we're all fumbling with the controls, and I said, why don't we do networking for the local community here? Let's see how this works with nothing to lose, because we are talking 2 days into lockdown at the time. And so they carried on, and we had 60, 70, 80 on the calls, and that's the sort of scale of things. And we discovered breakout rooms after a short time, a couple of weeks. That's useful. Let's do that. That's much better, you know. So in a nutshell, but then it got to around about June, July of that time. And it was tricky, obviously, printing a newspaper. What's going to happen? So I sort of, to use my expression, took one for the team, left the business, and formed Collaborate MK, and we just, literally not a penny to my name. What it didn't have was outgoings. That was the beauty of it. So it gave me that little bit of income to get the business started, because face-to-face events could have been a distant future.
Mm.
But I was keen to start running my own business, and then Boris let us out, and away we went with face-to-face events, and that's where we kicked off really from that point. Sort of,
So where are you at now in terms of the numbers of members and the number of meetings that you have every month?
well, we're now 296 members as we speak.
Wow.
We went VAT registered on the 1st of this month, which is a challenge, let's call it. And we average 10 events a month across the board. We do sort of take a step back from a few events at Christmas, Easter, and summer that people just aren't about. But we make up for that time. We have social events every quarter as well, so it averages out 10 events a month across the board.
So, Tim, what makes a really good networking event? Tell me what the ingredients are.
I think keeping smiles on faces is so important. Keeping things relaxed, conversational. Um, not, I don't particularly like the word pitch. There's
Mm,
nothing wrong with introducing yourself. You have to introduce yourself
mm,
and say what you do. Doesn't need to be an almighty pitch, especially on a virtual event, for instance. You suddenly burst into a pitch and you've got 5 faces looking at you. Well, what's that got to do with me? You could be the wrong target audience. I say jokingly to people, it's not Dragons Den. Just have a
mm.
conversation. Everything comes together in time. And this is the message I put to everybody across the group. Not that I don't preach to the group at all times. That's not what it's about. But if I'm talking to a brand new startup business, for instance, that's how I put it across. Because there's a lot of people find themselves now, as you well know, find themselves running their own businesses because they've been made redundant. haven't had to network for potentially many years, and then they're starting from scratch. And that one word networking could frighten the life out of people. I wish I could change it, to be perfectly honest. Just say just another word for it, because it's not what it used to be. It's very conversational. It's all very relaxed, but it's all about being patient. So
So if someone's going to a networking event for the first time, or they're fairly new to networking, what kinds of advice would you give them, just generally speaking, where any networking event is involved?
just sort of, in a way, your first ever one, grit your teeth. What I personally do, if I obviously looking at the bookings, and if I know someone's there for the first time, I put out to everybody. Even some of our members are still a bit nervous to walk into a big event. They may be used to an event with 20-25, which my smaller events are, but we have events up to 125 last January, for instance. That's enough to frighten the life out of people. So I put on my itinerary that goes out on the day of the event or the day before, depending on which one. If it's your first event, would you like to be introduced to a member of the support team on arrival?
Mm.
And so many people take me up on that, especially the big events. Could be 6, 7 out of, say, 20 new faces. And then as soon as they sign in with my daughter Katie, one of the support team will take that person over to the person I've allocated during the day. So my support team are ready and waiting for a WhatsApp from me. Oh, could you look after so and so on arrival? And you can see the relief on their face once they're there, because it's that initial walking in, isn't it? We're all human, probably the same for you in your first one, my first one. It's like, oh, no, we may get to that, but no, that's important to me, and also me and my support team are looking out for anybody that might be looking a little bit lost, a little bit on
Yeah.
the edge, and then they'll look out for them and bring them into their conversations. That's easier for me on a smaller event, not so easy at a big event personally. But if I've got 15 pairs of eyes looking out, that really helps, and it all helps to being that very friendly atmosphere. Don't want anybody
I
to walk out.
absolutely agree. I have been to your events, and I'm still a member of the online
Yeah.
events because I live in Somerset now. But I can honestly say when I walked in, how friendly people were to me. And I knew a few faces, but I didn't know a lot of people. And what struck me was about the warmth in the room and how supportive people were of each other. And obviously, that's down to what you've created. So let's talk about your experience with networking. When did you first go to a networking event?
Well, this is it. I mean, in a nutshell, my career was 30 years in electrical retail. You know,
Oh,
yeah, yeah. So literally from the age of 18, selling washing machines and TVs, and in the early 80s, up in Liverpool, where I lived at the time. A hint of an accent. We moved in
yes, I can
1987.
hear it now.
Occasionally, it needs to be stronger stuff than this, to be fair, but it doesn't take long. My wife's born and bred Scouser. I lived up there from the age of 6 to the age of 24, and
Mm.
then Curry's promoted me to. I was a trainee manager in my early 20s, and when I was about 24, promoted me to a neck of the woods you know very well, Amersham and Hemel Hempstead. I was the manager of
Oh, yeah.
Amersham and Hemel Hempstead Curry
Wow.
stores. That was before the Marlowe Centre was even built.
I
We
probably
were
bought a
rubbish.
washing machine off of you.
I hear this all the time. I remember you. You sold me a telly 10 years ago and all this, and it's still going. I do get those still somehow. I used to be a bit more moustached and a lot more hair as well. But so in a nutshell, but the break for me was so yeah, many years of Currys, Rumbelows, Radio Rentals. I was a manager of all them Quartz furnishers. My claim to fame is that every store I've managed has now closed down. So yeah, so, so perfect, But that's many years of that sort of thing. So it's quite an aggressive business, but I went along. I was a manager in my own relaxed way, and that kept teams together. And I think I was learning all the time in those days, especially the last 10 years of my retail days, because I was the manager of the Sony Centre in the Centre MK, Milton Keynes.
Mm.
Um, and there I managed to keep this team together for a long time. But I also got to know the MK Dons. The stadium was being built in Bletchley,
Mm.
and they needed stuff. And the chairman at the time, Pete Welkeman, who's only retired last year, he walked in the store, sold them a TV, as you do, and that led me to supplying TVs to the MK Dons in 2008, 2009 sort of time. And then sadly, my store went into administration with another 15, and And I did a couple of retail jobs after that, which I really hated. I was getting snapped up being experienced manager, but I was my own boss there, working for a great MD, and it wasn't right for me. So to cut long story short, I suddenly got a text from the chief executive on Andy Cullen, and he said, "Would you like to be considered to join the commercial team?" This was 11 years ago now. Christmas, so it was as good
Wow.
as.
Right.
And off I went, left the world of retail, which I was getting way too old for anyway, and into the world of business to business, which has no limits to age whatsoever, which I
Mm.
love. It really is as a podcast in itself. And so part of my role was networking. And my first expression when I was told that was, "What?" What does that mean? I don't know. As a retailer, you do not think of it.
Oh.
You do not think of B2B much as you
Mm.
want to. There's never any time. Never even thought about it. So my first event was Midsummer Breakfast, Jury's In, as it was then. Walked up the stairs, and I've been to conferences. I've been to big meetings in my time. I'm not a cocky character at all, but I felt confident. It was my new job. I was only about 2 weeks into it. Walked up the stairs and just saw 100 suits. I thought, oh my word, where do I start? Thanks for the brief. I thought, in I walked, spoke to two great people, and that really helped me because
Mm.
it was that welcome in the first place. And that's where I get all of my thoughts from now. Was that first
Mm.
time I walked in, and yeah, it was a chap from the car trade, two people from the car trade, and so it was like we hit it off straight away. And when I'm introducing myself as the MK Dons, it always sparks a conversation,
Mm.
good, bad, or indifferent, or it's something joking. However, so I must admit, and being a retailer, it did come quite natural to me.
Mm.
But I wasn't used to people sort of having a conversation then just walking off. I thought that's rude,
I
And then
know.
it was like that first time that I got back to the office, said, "No, that's the done thing." So I just learned myself and went everywhere because I needed to hit the ground running, business-wise. I needed
Mm.
to meet people, and I just went to as much as I could. So that was my very first experience, nearly 11 years ago, which is quite frightening, um, in those terms. But yeah, it was all quite formal in those days, if I'm honest.
Mm.
Very
It
much.
was definitely. And how long did you stay at the Dons for then?
4 years, 4 years. So saw that through to 2018. Took a headhunting call I could not resist, and regretted it. It's just one of those where, yeah,
Mm.
let's say the promises weren't quite to what
Mm.
I was expected, and they came knocking for me, and yeah, financially it was very, very good, so I couldn't resist. And I was ready to leave the Dons, to be perfectly honest with you. There's a couple of commercial managers that come in. One commercial manager left, another one came in. I put in for it, and I wasn't overly qualified to do it, but I did feel my nose put out of joint a little bit. So off I went. And then when Business MK came along, that was ideal for me. I thought this is just right, but I needed to get in there, change the style of the paper, or influence the editor at the time
Mm.
to change the style a little bit, bring in a business club, change the advertising packages, and that was all
Mm.
going great until lockdown.
Pandemic.
And that
Yeah.
sort of just really came to a head then, and none of us knew where we were, and along with every other business in the country, so it's hardly isolated to us. But I was determined just to keep smiles on faces, as much as possible. I'm not a comedian. I just like people to be relaxed in
Mm.
this sort of environment when you're on a Zoom call, and
Mm.
they proved to be very popular. So that was the principle.
So the pandemic really gave you a golden opportunity, actually. You
Yeah,
are one of the pandemic success stories.
yeah,
I think it's great. And what you've built is phenomenal, really, because 296 members, 10 meetings, very, very centric around Milton Keynes, which is what's needed. So that obviously led you to decide to enter the SME Milton Keynes and Buckinghamshire Awards last year.
yeah.
So I'm guessing that was the first time you'd ever entered awards?
Yes, I sort of knew of them. Did I treat it as a priority? Probably not, because in those early days, my head was all over the place, getting things
Mm.
going. Am I worthy? Was there a category ready for me? I did look at MKBA a couple of times, and there wasn't really a category that I could tick a box
Mm.
for, if I'm perfectly honest. Because I am who I am. The business is what it is, and I'll
Mm.
never make out I'm something that I'm not. I put in for micro business, which is about the only one. This is going back about 2 years. Left it and didn't get past the first hurdle. But as soon as I saw networking group of the year. That was a slightly different story. So, and sorry, and this was the SME Awards,
Mm.
not MKBAA. And so I thought nothing to lose. So sort of did four seats. I thought bring the family and a couple of the sponsors, and we're at the MK Don, so it all made sense. And then to see my name in lights, wow, it was just amazing. That was the first one. Yeah.
And how did that feel? Because did you finally feel, wow, I have been recognised now for this work that I've done for the past few years?
Yeah, yeah,
Mm.
and that was the whole thing. That was the whole thing. It was about sort of good, I think good 350 in the room
Mm.
for MK and Bucks, and to be there on stage. I mean, my daughter as well,
Mm.
who's she's very outgoing and hospitality. She's the one that gives the welcomes on the signing in desk at the big events and so on. But I can't say exactly what she said to me. We could be on stage, but yeah, you'll on the front page of my website, you'll see her with the slightly gritted teeth, you know. And but yeah, not a little bit out of comfort zones, let's say. But I loved every second of it, I must admit,
Yeah.
because I do not shout about me. I'm very rare. I don't. As a group, it's not about me. But you're there on stage. Here
Mm.
we are. I don't need to
It
go
is
over
about
the top,
you. Yeah.
just enough to
Yeah.
say that's
And
what
then
we
that
got.
took you on the road to Wembley,
And
which
this is the thing. Wow.
we were in the same category.
Yes.
There was, I think, 10 networking groups, was it? It was a lot. It was a
Yes.
lot.
It was.
And I'd looked at them all beforehand and I knew you and I'm a member of your organisation.
Yeah.
And I felt very strongly that it should go to you. I've got to say that.
Yeah.
And I did tell the team that on the night.
Right.
So I was really thrilled when you won that. And that gives you that
Yeah.
national recognition. So how did that feel?
It was just unbelievable because it was one of those where I really had with MK and Bucks. I thought to myself, you know what, I've got a pretty good chance here.
Yeah.
National, when I was looking, I saw you were there, and there was other groups from Surrey and London and all over the place. I thought, here we go. Well, let's just go. I'm going to take my sponsors with me. Let's have a night out, a good Friday night out. And
It was.
it was absolutely tipping with rain, didn't it?
Yeah.
We got there really early as well because Will and Hospice. We jumped in a coach with Will and Hospice, who were the charity partner, and so on. And so we were there really early. So we had a couple of drinks beforehand as well. So and yeah, it was a bit. I thought I'll going in with an open mind because we've got a 1 in 10
Mm.
chance of winning. Then here we were, sort of. It was about 9 o'clock, and it was full house, and I really was so impressed with the actual awards as well.
Mm.
The food, just being at Wembley was just incredible.
Yeah, it was.
Everything about it was. There was a real buzz on our table. Met some great people as well, and then up it came silver. Okay, 1 in 9 chance, and then to see my name up there in front of 700 people was just
Yeah.
incredible. And I must admit, it's a bit of a day. So it's probably like scoring a goal at Wembley. To be perfectly honest with you, you've done it, but you just can't remember anything afterwards. And then up we went on stage, and it was absolutely terrific. Then that really helped me relax over Christmas, thinking, right, now we can remarket ourselves in my own gentle, quiet way, market ourselves from January onwards. When networking gets going again. And
Mm.
but to be on stage was just incredible. And yeah, and that's pride of place on my homepage of the website as well, including the video of me going.
Oh, that's amazing. And that's now led you to be invited onto the judging panel for the SME Nationals, and you're already beavering away with the judging. So tell me a bit. I mean, I know you can't tell me too much, but you
Yeah.
can tell us a little bit about what the experience is like on the other side of the fence.
Yeah, and that's the strangest thing because I didn't know how it worked.
Mm.
I've seen sort of with the other awards that do happen locally. Sometimes you see, oh, here we are in our meeting discussing, and thought maybe it is just a group of people sat around a table. This is very much online.
Mhm.
The crucial thing from my point of view, because I'm in a busy world, 9 till 6 or even 7, to be fair. So yeah, nice quiet time Sunday morning. Yeah, so you're given 5 days or so window to judge the businesses, and there's about sort of 8 to 20 to do in each hit.
Mm.
So the important thing from my side was Sunday morning was the ideal time to do it, and just nice
Mm.
and quiet. and that's out of total respect for the business. You don't want to be rushing things,
Mm.
because you need to read, research, look at the website, and just see what you think. Now,
Mm.
on paper, I'm quite inexperienced business owner, but I feel I've been there and done it to a certain extent in a short space of time.
Mm.
So it's been lovely to be asked. But the important thing is just, taking your time, and you just give it this point score
Mm.
after you've read all the profiles, looked at the websites, and just giving a good, straightforward, honest opinion. And very
What
important.
is making you go, oh, that's amazing? What sort of things stand out for you? Is it the evidence? Is it the information that they're supplying? What is it that's making you think, oh, that's a really good entry and good business?
Yeah, I think it's very much based on the evidence and just how they put themselves over in a, you could say, in a non-profity way, if that's a word. If someone
Mm.
just said, right, we've gone from, I suppose in a way I'm treating a bit like Dragon's Den. If someone says they've gone from 20 grand profit to 80 grand overnight, does that really impress me? Do I believe it? I don't know. I'm a little bit on the fence. It's probably I look at a lot of them, and a lot of them is what they do for the community.
Mm.
It's giving value to their clients is
Mm.
what leaps out to me. And if they've achieved that profitability in that short space of time, then yeah, very much well done. And that would probably give me a high mark, because it's all about the pound notes, as I still call them,
Yeah.
you know. But at the same time, and they're there for a good reason. They're in the national awards for a good reason as well. So they're the ones I'm judging. So I think it's very much what they do for the community and what value they give, and so on, and how they treat the staff. Because some of these businesses are very much on the big side. You can tell some of them are 10 to 50 odd staff. That's important to me, having worked for huge corporates over the years.
Mm.
So that's what I'd be looking at personally.
And are you surprised about how robust the process is?
Yes, yeah. It's very straightforward as well.
Mm.
Sometimes I'm not the sharpest out of the block, and it takes me, if you give me something complicated, I probably need to ask, and then so on. But no, it's all very straightforward. It's just giving that time and just making sure everything is done correctly. It's very, very
Mm.
important, because I like everything I do. When I was in retail, I looked at everything from the other side. How would I be treated? How would I deal with that issue if I was the other side, or a member of the family, if it was a complaint, for instance? How would I like to be welcomed into my store? All of that I brought with me to my own business, because it's the same thing. It's
Mm.
it's very much
Definitely.
people,
It's people.
people.
And how has the win, double win, benefited Collaborate MK? How do you think that that's benefited your organisation?
Well, I think it's sort of it's given me that, I don't want to say credibility, but extra credibility. I think I had
Mm.
that credibility in the first place because I'm
Mm.
well known locally, and people latched on and joined very quickly. We keep members do stay and renew, and so on. Not everybody. Sometimes circumstances take people away. But we've got this very supportive community about us. But it gives me that, let's call it, an extra level of credibility when you've won that award, or those two awards. It makes a huge difference.
Mm.
But I'm sort of I still probably could shout about it a lot more if I wanted to. But
Mm.
it's probably the way I do market myself. It's not about me. That's just something I need to look at. But yeah, I've got it on my. I'll do the occasional LinkedIn post just to sort of top things up, to remind, as an A3 pull-up banner at all of my events, just making it clear to the new people that have come along. That gives me that credibility. That's an endorsement. That's the word I'm looking for. It's an endorsement of to people that are that I don't know, newcomers to my events, for instance. Having just an A3 next to my business card draw box, just an A3 sign, just to make it clear to 20-25 people, that's what I've won. It does really endorse what I've done, which is
Brilliant.
important to me.
So, sorry, 5 years in now, 5 years in, what tips would you give to somebody in those first few years of starting a business, things that you've learned, or maybe mistakes that you've made? Um, what would you say to anyone listening to this who's in their early stage journey as well?
Very much. how many word this correctly. You take good advice when it comes to referrals, because I knew a lot of people, but I needed a lot of new stuff. I needed a brand new website started from
Mhm.
scratch. Did I know the ins and outs of that? No. Why would I need to? So that did go wrong for me when it came to the website. So take good advice from someone that's recommendation referrals. It's got to be someone that person used and not someone you know or you think could be good or can talk a good tale. So that's a big one. Some of the more routine stuff is a little bit easier, i.e., getting an accountant on board and use so many, but it had to be right for the business and so on. That's a bit more straightforward and not as complex as the website, for instance. But yeah, recommendations and referrals. Take good advice. Don't rush into anything at all. And generally look for advice from other people. Go and sit down,
Yeah.
buy someone a lunch or a coffee or something. I really need your help here because it's a lonely place being a business owner. I felt surrounded by so many people that I know. It's when you're building a community around you, which I've been doing for 11 years, you suddenly realize, wow, I've got great people to turn to. But I felt my head was turned there,
Mm.
ooh, and then you end up with a smaller crew around you. But that's no one's fault, because I try to do too much and have too many plates spinning. Instead of concentrating on one thing, I was flying off on a tangent there. But again, you have to get these things in place. And bear in mind, we're still in lockdown as well. So it's, in a way that really helped because I had a bit more time to get things done. But yeah, that's what I'd say. Just choose who you want around you and quite carefully. That's what I would suggest personally, just in those early days.
So you've got 10 groups now. One of them's online, which is the one I belong to.
Yeah.
Which is great for me because I'm now in Somerset, but I can still access your community. What I do is UK wide anyway, so it makes no difference that I can't get to a face-to-face. What plans have you got? I mean, are you happy where it is, or do you have plans to grow it any further? What's your longer term plan?
It is tricky. I'm asked that a lot, and I can't manage and host anymore. 10 otherwise I'll just hit the floor. It's not. I love being at the events, but the time consuming side and you could say it's quite exhausting. Is the planning and organizing and marketing of each one. When I'm at the events, I love it. So I'm highly likely just to stick with what I've got. I might do another 2 or 3 local to MK and have someone else host. But I'm not sure if that business model will work for me because I want to be there. So it's a tricky one. So to be perfectly honest, I'm quite happy with what we've got at the moment. And I think it would be that way for a good, I'm 62 now. Got to be thinking about retirement, won't be till I'm 70 because that's the way I think everything's go for everybody. And I wouldn't want to stop. I don't want to stop, but I probably have to start thinking. Not thinking. I probably will be around about that time. And I know where I've sort of hit that point, but I wouldn't be surprised if I'm still sat here in 10 years' time.
Neither would I.
No,
Neither would I. I think you will be.
No, I will, because I can't. I just can't retire. I'm just too busy doing what I do.
Yeah.
No, I just feel I'd be too young, even if I'm in early 70s, to actually stop, to slow down a bit. But no, I just love what I do. I don't feel my age, if I'm perfectly honest. And I might just hit that point of slowing down slightly in a couple of years. But no, I love what I do, and I think that's pretty much as it is. I'm determined to keep all the membership pricing in the same sort of vein as they are. Never changed. The VAT registration is the only change we've had in this last 5 years, because I just always want to deliver value.
Yeah, you do. You do in spades, I have to say.
And that's the thing, but keeping at those prices, some people say, "Oh, you're too cheap," and you think, "Oh, I get that," but I don't want to just suddenly put 20% on with that and then put another 20% on. We'll lose members. Something gradual as costs go, but because we have so many sponsors across the board, my costs are covered. So it means I can keep to those levels. And I'm all about having this mass quantity of people, because people want to go to an event of, say, 25 people. they want to see 5 or 6 new faces at all times.
Yes.
If we were just the same people all the time. So by encouraging people to come along and having very reasonably priced memberships, that's my answer, and that's the business model basically. And I've kept everything very reasonably valued, of course.
Yeah, I think it's
All
really
right
good
time.
value. And it is a challenge as a networking company going VAT registered. When I went VAT registered,
Yeah.
God, quite a long time ago now. Um, it's the first year with my networking company, I actually absorbed the VAT myself.
Ah.
um, to keep the price. Well, because 20% is
Yeah.
quite a lot for people to suddenly
Yeah.
start paying.
Yeah.
Then I put the price up and just said to people, because the majority of people that come to the Business Women Unlimited events aren't VAT registered, so they can't
No.
claim it. But
No.
as a business, you can only absorb it yourself for so long. Um,
Yes.
and yeah, we were charging VAT, but it meant the price, the actual ticket price had gone down
Yes.
effectively.
Yes.
Um, so it is a tricky thing, but I think you do offer incredible value, and we will make sure that your links are in the show notes because
Yeah.
you can access Collaborate MK wherever you are in the UK through the online events that they do. But also, if you happen to be in the Milton Keynes area and you've got an event, you can book and come along, can't you?
Yeah, yeah, yeah. It's well, it did change from the 1st of September. It's now half price to anybody new, but
Hmm.
anybody that's recommended into me,
Hmm.
fine, come along free of charge. If you recommend to someone to come along, or any one of my support team sponsors, or any member says, "Oh, can so and so come along for nothing?" Of course they can. I bought in half price because we're in the same world. People book
Mm.
and no show.
Yeah, I know. So
Yeah,
annoying.
it's not a massive cost. It's just more
Mm.
that inconvenience. And sometimes I do think to myself, you're not showing good credibility there by
No,
doing that. And especially sometimes one person did it about 3 or 4 times in a row. You think, don't do that.
no.
Um, why would you? So it's not a massive cost. It's just more the time involved.
Yeah.
And just we only started the 1st of September, so we're only talking literally 4 weeks ago. It's made a big difference.
Yes.
And then people turn up. People aren't going to add one paid full price, completely no show. Do you think? Didn't even put his business name on the booking. That was a real strange one. But either way, people aren't going to do fake bookings or anything like that if they're going to be paid.
No.
So except for that one-off case, they didn't put a
I
big.
mean, there is a whole thing around networking etiquette, and that's one of the things that I think
Oh
illustrates
yeah,
bad networkers. And if they're doing that for their networking event, they're not going to be reliable people to recommend for business, are they?
we are so on the same page.
Mm.
Yeah, that's so true. And we probably be thinking it privately at the time, but it's so true.
Mm.
Because yeah, if you can't do that, then what credibility are you going to have with your own business?
Mm.
So that's such a good point and valid point.
Because even if you register for free, we've got an event tomorrow, which is for our 2025 finalists. And I've had people emailing me today saying, I can't now come, just to let you
Yeah,
know.
yeah,
It takes you 2 seconds to
yeah,
do that,
yeah.
and to not
Yeah.
even let people know, I just think
No,
is really rude.
no, that's the thing. Circumstances happen.
Yeah.
No problem. But just let us know. Doesn't matter who is. There's one of my sponsors, anybody. But yeah, I just don't like people not crossed off on my list and
Mm.
classed as a no-show. Just strange. But that again, that's the word etiquette. But yeah, no, it's just that sort of common courtesy, really. So, oh, sorry, can't make it. Not a problem at all. Bang,
Yeah.
badge off in the box. Then your badge not sat there. So people come along. Oh, is so and so here yet? Oh no, they haven't got
Mhm.
it yet. And then they haven't turned up. Yeah, I don't think people realise that, and that's why talking to you, it does make so much sense because it's what we do.
Oh, I'll tell you what happened to me last
Yeah.
Friday.
Oh,
I
go
was
on.
at the Great British Awards and I was presenting an award to the Female Entrepreneur of the Year, which is the one I won last year at
Of
those
course.
awards. And they invited me back to present. And I got onto stage and read out the winner. And everybody stood there doing this, and she wasn't there. And she'd booked a ticket and hadn't told the organisers that she wasn't coming.
Oh my word.
So I'm literally stood there thinking, what do I do with this? So in the
Oh,
end, I just said, well, clearly she's not here and I'll accept it on her behalf. Thank you very much. Got off the stage. And I
oh,
felt so sorry for the organisers. And I
yeah.
hope it was nothing serious that
No,
he couldn't be
no.
there. But just to drop a text or a phone call or something an email just to say can't now make it would have been good.
No, I can only think of not so
Might
easy
have been
sometimes.
something
That's
serious.
yeah,
Yeah,
exactly. But oh my word,
I
no.
know.
Okay, in front of everybody you're there.
It's
Do a
like
double
that.
take.
Okay, I'll just take it home again this year. No,
Yeah,
obviously,
because
I had a name on it, but yeah.
with the
So,
I'm
I
just
mean,
thinking,
I'm with you
yeah,
on that. I think
yeah,
we just need to encourage people to be
yeah,
a bit more, I just feel like a bit more understanding of what it's like to run
yeah,
events. And even if
yeah,
the event's for 25 people or for 500 people,
yeah.
just to let people know is
Okay.
is such an easy thing to do. So
Yeah.
yeah, I'm on that page with
Brilliant.
you.
Yeah, definitely.
Well, thank you for joining me today, Tim. It's been fascinating listening to your journey
Yeah.
from washing machines to spinning people around with their networking. I mean, it's just an incredible
I
story,
know.
really.
I might use that. Yeah. I'll pinch it off you.
I think it's a great story. And to award-winning success, because, I think you've proved that you can take a business idea, you can develop it, and you can create something which is truly amazing. I have to say, I'm not just saying that, it
No,
really
no.
is your organization, and go on to win awards. And I think, you should be incredibly proud of what you've achieved.
Oh,
And I wish you continued success with
oh,
that. So thank
oh, thank
you.
you. No, thank you. No, it's been great to be here.
Thank you. And we
Brilliant.
will make sure that all Tim's details are in the show notes. And so if you are interested in finding out more about Collaborate MK, you can head over and find out more details. So thank you, Tim.
Brilliant. Thank you,
Good luck
Debbie.
for your judging.
Yeah, thank you.